In the culinary world, there are countless lists and awards. Here in Houston, we have the local Culture Map Tastemakers Award, the Chronicle's Top 100 Restaurants of the Year, websites like The Infatuation, Eater, and Yelp, all with their own awards and lists, not to mention the more prestigious accolades like the San Pellegrino Top 50, James Beard Awards, and of course, the esteemed Michelin Guide. However, in the world of barbecue, there exists one list that stands above them all, the Texas Monthly Top 50 of Barbecue. For Ernest Cervantes, chef and owner of Burnt Bean Company Barbecue, that highly coveted number one spot has been his goal since he started his journey into barbecue. After a long and wildly successful stint in the barbecue competition circuit, Chef Ernest opened his brick and mortar location with his business partner, Dave Kirkland. I had the chance to sit down with both Ernest and Dave to talk about their backgrounds and what it truly takes to pursue the top spot of the Texas Monthly Top 50 Barbecue List.
My biggest goal, my plan since day one is to be number one in Texas. That was it. We wanted to become the best barbecue joint in the state of Texas. No ifs, ands, or buts. And we had, no financial means for it, but we had the drive, the heart, and the passion, and the grit. And people don't understand that that's what it takes. Day in, day out, you get your ass handed to you, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you get it perfect every day. And sometimes you would just hold your breath to see if people would come in at the beginning. When you get into this industry, it's going to take all of you. If you're going to go all in, you're going to have to go all in. Because you got to understand, it was just him and I. And back in the day, I would do all the sides, all the trimming,
back
all
in the day,
seasoning.
We had our times all screwed up.
Yeah.
And you lived here.
I stayed on the couch, and he would go and work the pits, and he was washing dishes at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the weekends, all my kids were here, his kids were here, and they all had full-time jobs. They were helping us because we couldn't afford anybody. I'm gonna tell you what happened. One day we got the bill for our linens.
Oh, shit.
And we're like, oh my God, Dave, it's $180. $180 fucking dollars, and we're free. So we went to the guy. We're like, time out. Okay, can we take away 5 of the aprons? And we're like, okay, we'll just wash them ourselves. And can you take away these towels? And so it can be right around $75. $75. Our linen bill now is like $300 something about a night. But back in the day, that's how crucial every penny. People don't understand that it's not a fairy tale. It's more of a Mount Everest hike without all the equipment. You're going to get your ass kicked, and people don't understand that nowadays. We wanted to be the best. That was it. There's not second, there's not fifth. It was one or nothing. That's our goal, and that's how my mentality was in the competition world, and my mentality period in life. And not only that, we're in a small town. I said that'd be pretty epic if we can be the best in the world, and we're in a small town. When I was in the competition world, my philosophy was, I'm here to snap necks and cash checks, man.
There you go.
And that's what we do here at the Burnt Bean, and that's our reputation, and that's the reputation that everybody now sees.
Right.
And they understand, like, these two dudes, we're grown-ass men. We're not in our 20s anymore. This is it for us. We don't have time to dick around for a couple of years. I'm not in my 20s that are like, oh, if I screw this up, I can go back to a different corporate job.
Right.
No, I left a really good paying 20-year corporate job to do the opposite.
How long were y'all grinding it out in the competition circuit?
I started in 2007.
Right, okay.
So yeah, and it was a part-time gig when I did it at the beginning because, one, I didn't have the funds, but two, I didn't know what I was really getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was one of these type of black holes that, it becomes an addiction. And that's what I did. And I took it real serious. And like just everything else I do, is if I get into something, I'm going to be focused until I master it.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing with competition. And that's how Dave and I met each other, because by then I had a couple of years under my belt, but I was already in the IBCA circuit, which is like the NASCAR or the NFL of barbecue competition in Texas.
I've kind of had my hand in a little bit of everything. I worked in HVAC industry for about 20 years. And then to have fun with some of that money, I started the competition barbecue stuff. That was a field that I had the least amount of experience in.
As progression, one, I got better and better. I got more access to a lot of things, and then I became on TV shows, and the rest is history. But the whole time since 2007, the end game was this. The end game wasn't to become an iconic competition cook, and that was it. The end game was to open my restaurant.
I think a lot of people don't think about that it's like you've got to grind for a long time before results start happening.
Let's just put it this way. I've been grinding since 2007, and I'm not stopping. We've been open for almost 5 years now, and I'm still not stopping. And it's not like one of those that you can get away. Not me, dude. And it's not even that I don't even micromanage. I just love to be here. You've come and eaten at Burnt Bean one time, and you're like, oh my God, it's the best. 3 years from now, it should be just as good or better.
Right.
I don't want them to say, oh, they got lucky that one day. I hate the saying, and I knock on wood here, and that's my biggest fear. And that's probably why I'm here all the time. I don't want anybody to say, man, I was at Burnt Bean today, and I think they were off. There's no f***ing off days here, man.
Right.
And I'm serious when I say that to the core, and they know it here. We do a three-man line check. That tells you the quality has to be there today. And that's what we do here at the Burnt Bean. It's got to be perfect every single day. I had one guy here that worked here, and he quit because I can't work. Y'all are too strict, and your standards are too high. One of my employees said, "There's no standards. There's no high standards here. It's just the standard. That's it. Like, this is it. You know what I mean? This is the way it should be, and that's it." At the end of the day, there's no excuses here. I will make it happen. I told him too. When we opened, he's like, "Well, we can't get a kitchen." I'm like, "Just give me something. I'll make shit happen." And we're cranking out some epic food. What I have to work for it. I tell people there's no excuses. If sometimes Dave and I sit down and we admire how much we've accomplished, but the biggest accomplishment we're doing is when we bring people from Germany and Australia and England and Argentina and Brazil in 1 week to Seguin, Texas.
And they all know where Seguin, Texas is at.
Yeah. They're not here to visit. They're here to eat at the Burnt Bean Company and come to a town they would never in their lifetime even know what it's about.
Right.
Compared to an Austin or a San Antonio or a Dallas. That's pretty cool that we're doing it in this little town.
With the ambition and stuff like that to take the number one spot, you've got the James Beard recognition. You've now got the Michelin recognition. What do you think comes with the weight of that number one spot?
Here's that. We'll talk about Goldies first. I call them the Lost Boys, man. I love those guys.
Yeah.
What they've done, and I've seen them grow from where they got the number one to now. They're different, but they've grown, and they've done an excellent job. It's like being president for 4 years. You know what I mean? The mayor for 4 years.
Yeah.
They did their job and they killed it. And then you have to bring your A game even more because of scrutiny. Because a lot of people are going to go and judge it and compare it, and 90% of the time they're not going to compare it to Billy Bob's or Tyler's Barbecue or that. No, they're going to compare it to theirs.
Right.
At the end of the fucking day, that's what it always is. Well, I don't make theirs is all right, mine's better, and so I consider myself best in Texas if I think it's, and that's how it is. It's all perception. So to get the honor of being number one, you know what you got yourself into. Now you have the responsibility not only to show every day what number one barbecue joint is in the place that you're at, but you're representing Texas and the world, as they say, because everybody's going to come and say, this is the number one and this is the standard of what Texas barbecue is for this 4 years.
Right.
That's it. You know what you got. Now suck it up and do it. Because that's what we were going for. I tell people this all the time. I tell my team, they were so bummed out when we didn't get the James Beard. And I said, guys, I have the same thing with the whole Michelin fiasco. I said, guys, don't hang your heads on that. Yep. Because at the end of the day, when we opened this restaurant, what was our goal since day one? What was our goal since the day we opened the doors? To be number one in Texas Monthly. Yeah. Because in our hearts, that is the standard of what excellence is in this country. When we opened, I the only thing I can compare the Burnt Bean when we opened our doors is a horse race with blinders. I don't care what everybody else is doing. I really don't. If you see our menus, it's what we want to do. We're not following the fads. We're not following anything. We have blinders on, and we don't give a shit about anybody else. Our goal is in front of us. We're like the rabbit with the greyhound with that bunny. that bunny is number one in Texas, and that's all we're focused on. We're not looking behind. We're not looking inside. Well, whenever we got 4 and everybody else got what they got, everybody got lax. They were on vacation. They were kicking around and everything. And we're the tortoise that said we're going to be one.
When we at number 4, now we have to go back to work for 4 more years because we can't stop. We can't take a break. We have to come up with new ideas. We have to be innovative. We have to continue to work hard every single day for the next 4 years.
That's all we cared about.
Still crawling.
Yeah. While everybody was here and they're relaxing and partying. Now, I love it. And we call it. We were waiting for this. I said, I can't wait till the last 6 months when everybody's starting to hurry up and make all this cool shit and making a lot of hype on them. What happened to you for the past 3.5 years, man?
Right.
While we're trucking, it's too late. Everybody knows, and that's why we have that reputation, because we never let off the gas. We were all fucking gas, no brakes. We did not stop. For 4 years, we have not stopped, and we're not going to stop. I want to change the perception of what barbecue is, man. We still got a long ways to go. All these the new era of barbecue, we're going to be changing the dynamics of where it goes from. And the reason why is the era of before Franklin in America, it was a blue-collar, cheap, quick lunch meal.
Yeah. And
it wasn't considered James Beard worthy or Michelin worthy. Now the cuisine is. Everything evolves, and now our cuisine is now, ever since Franklin got that James Beard, it has evolved and morphed into what it is now, and it's only going to get better. Right now, all the best barbecue joints in Texas are running a Central Texas brisket.
Right.
That's no argument. No one's going to argue with that. They're going to run a pepper, salt with some other rub. Would you judge where they're really from? Is their rib.
Okay.
Because their rib, they're going to do something that's similar to where they're from. Their rib tells you a story. Because at the end of the day, we do ribs the way we like to eat them. Minus the fall off the bone thing. I like a fall off the bone. How many times have I told you, pull back a little bit, dude? Pull back because you're going to complain, you know. I am blessed to do everything I love to do every day. And everybody said, you know, I remember exactly what you said. Everybody said, you're not opening a restaurant. Are you going to open a restaurant? I'm like, nah. And they're like, you're not going to open it, because that was my competition days. And these are from barbecue joints. Like predominantly barbecue. You're not going to open a barbecue joint. I'm like, yeah, I promise I won't. They're like, are you ever going to open one? I'm like, nah, probably a fried chicken joint. And they're like, okay. And then when they found out this, they're like, mother. We're always doing something cool here.
Yeah.
It's since day one. It's not like we got hot and then got desperate. No, dude. We've been always innovating, man. We're the innovators, not the duplicators. You know, and that's what we've been. We've always innovated. We don't be complacent. And we keep on trucking, and our goal is to become number one in Texas, and then number one in the country, and basically that means number one in the world. Some people get success and they want to do 4 or 5 more burnt beans.
Right.
I just want one burnt bean and to be the most special place in the whole wide world.